the King's Gambit, the kick after the siren to win a game. Why don't we just spin that straight into Richmond and the big issue with the Tigers, who felt like they might have been on the tear. They were a team capable of rising. They lost that game to Sydney with a 5-goal-plus lead at the SCG. They lost from a winning position against Geelong, and now they've lost from 40 points up. And the trouble is the injuries that have been sustained along the way. So if you'd said by the end of Saturday night, Nankervis, Soldo, Lynch would be out along with Dusty, Cochin, Lambert and Floston, you'd go, yep, that's probably a team that's going to lose. But the circumstances in which that happened over the last 6 minutes.
It was a strange Richmond game because they played so well for so long and the game stayed at high speed. It was almost like they had no awareness of clock. And it was just, it was like it was a 4-quarter game. It was an 8/8 game that we were halfway through, and they were just going to keep going frantic until they broke, you know. And all of a sudden it was, oh, hang on, we're in trouble here. And at no stage did they slow the game down. And I just, you know, it's not who you play, it's when you play them and all those sorts of things. But if Cochin was out, I couldn't help but think they lacked one leader.
Yep. Just
to slow the whole thing down and to set the game, you know, the field up properly to deny easy opportunities or quick opportunities, one-on-one opportunities, all those sorts of things. If Cochin was there, they win this game. That was all I could think about on the night. And they're an awkward team to work out at the moment, Richmond. I love their system. I think their system is still the best system in the competition. It can beat anyone. Now, they've had some challenges with some personnel and in-game. It's nothing worse than losing a key position player in-game. So they lose Lynch in-game, early in the first term. Like he's the one who just separates the game. And then the ruckman situation becomes a real problem for them. And it'll be a problem going forward. So they're banged up. They've been here before. I think what that does to Damien Harvey is, okay, we're probably not going to make top 4 now. Let's just absolutely make sure we lock away a top 8 position. They've got a healthy draw. They've got good opportunities with the draw, I should say, or the fixture. So they get there, and then it's just a matter of how healthy they can be when they get there. They take a no risks approach with their players now, which we've seen in 2019. I think we saw this. They'll be a seriously dangerous proposition come September. One of the teams is going to be really unlucky to finish 5th or 6th and come up against Richmond, who are going to just sort of find their way into the bottom bracket of the 8, in my opinion.
Yep. So just the litany of sins inside the last 6 minutes, it really does bear going back and watching what transpired. So the first was, and kudos to Charlie Ballard for the charge in to smother the Castagna kick. Now, it's so. Do you watch it and go, well, Castagna should have read the play and given that handball over the top to Cumberland, but it happens in such a hurry. And he comes at an angle where I don't know. But that's 5:52 to go.
And how did he not, Jared?
So how did he not see him?
It was Kaczynski lack of peripheral.
So it sits on Castagna for not giving the
100%.
one over the top.
Not just kicking the goal. Like 3 steps earlier. Like he slowed down for 5 steps. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Little men make big mistakes, don't they?
And then Grimes drops a chest mark with 42 seconds left. And it's just after the Joel fumbling goal. Ainsworth and Bowes bring the ball forward, and Grimes drops a chest mark. And Grimes had been immense. I don't think there's any doubt about that. If he takes that mark with 42 seconds to go, that's it. That's the stationary play that they needed. You have to do a lot wrong to lose that game from the position that it had got to.
Yeah,
and they did points. A lot wrong.
Yeah, they did. I think it started earlier than that. They coughed up 3 goals from stoppages. The Suns are a seriously good stoppage team, particularly forward 50 stoppages. I think they're the best in the comp at scoring from forward 50 stoppages. So whenever there's that opportunity, you have to go on high alert as a defensive unit. Sam Day did some things. Touk Miller, did some things. Matt Rowell did some things at stoppage. Noah Anderson was a constant stone in the shoe of the Tigers all night. So whilst the margin was 40 points, they were still doing enough, the Suns, to threaten. And when they start to convert from those clearance victories, you could feel it build, couldn't you? You kept looking to score, thinking, no, it's just a fraction beyond them. And it's Richmond. You have that extra trust because it's Richmond. But I think it's set in the third term, and I think the clearance brigade of the Suns started it. And Grimes has made 2 mistakes in 10 years, so no one's
Yeah.
And that's the conditions up there. That's why that's such a great home ground advantage. It's a little bit more difficult to mark the ball. It's a little bit more difficult to pick it up at ground level under real pressure or under genuine speed. So that's a real opportunity for the Suns. So they hunt after that ball because they think this guy could drop this. Most teams stop. If that game's at the MCG, you stop and you're almost man the mark instead of charging on the potential to be a loose ball spill. So that's their luxury. That is their opportunity, given their home ground advantage. The square up kick from Sam Day, super intelligent. I mean, can you imagine having that shot from the paint? Like what percentage would that? I mean, Champion Data, I hate to do it, but Champion Data would have the numbers. I would say that'd be a 3% opportunity from there. I mean, outside the paint, after the siren, you can't change your line. You got to run straight line or make your angle even poorer before you can to try and convert. I don't think that's Sam Day's go really. So to square the ball up immediately, given the fact that there's only 30 seconds to go, that's the bit that always scares me when a player takes that mark and he says, "Oh, if I kick this now," and the siren goes, "I'm going to look like the biggest peanut in the world." And people will come from everywhere. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
So you take all those sorts of risks, and when they pay off, you've got to say, well done, terrific. The passion.
There's a lot of Richmond fans with us. Joe, the worst errors were Short giving away the 50. Grimes trying to effect a spoil and his man gets a goal over the back and Castagna's smother. So that's the litany of sins. As a Richmond supporter, you're dead right with how hard we are to work out. We've been in front at three-quarter time in 14 of 16 games this year and managed to lose 5 of them. The last 10 games, we've only lost 3 games to Sydney, Geelong and Gold Coast, all by a goal or less. Not sure if those are good or bad signs. Only time will tell.
All I know is you don't want to play Richmond in September.